Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the show. My name is Jack Chow on the East West Show with the Lots of Proud under GNE TV. And of course, under this beautiful flag, which represents democracy, we have almost no limitation of freedom, right? Should we say that or should we not say that? Or does freedom have limitations, does not have limitations? Now, it still is in question, especially after the incident in France happened in Paris with Charlie Hebdo. Lots of people started thinking otherwise. So the otherwise thinking is that, do we really have to treat our freedom as something we endure no freedom, with no limitation? So now, I call this the second discussion. If you would call it a debate, depends on how these two gentlemen would go along with each other. Debate, you may call it, if so. So on my left-hand side is my good friend and the super attorney and the past bar president of California Attorneys Association, right?
Mexican-American Bar Association.
Well, yeah, yes. Sure. All right, good. Mr. Alan Diamante. And it's a reliable source of information and a very good record-keeping attorney. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's always an honor.
When I say good record, I say you seldom lose a case, do you?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Usually I make an assessment of the case before I take it. Yeah. If I think the case doesn't have a chance, I won't take it. Yeah, but there are cases that have small percentage of possibility of winning.
Quite often than not, you walk into an office of attorney with your problems, you're kind of betting 50-50.
Well, not necessarily 50-50. You have to you have to size up the case and make that determination. Sometimes I give a case 5% chance, and I'll take the case if I think there's a 5% chance.
You fight for the 5%.
Well, if it's worth it, because some people just have to make that intent.
So that's why I say to my audience, is a good record-keeping attorney, Mr. Alan Diamante. To my right-hand side, my good friend, you see him more than you see me.
More than you want.
Mr. Ken Hemming, a good friend of mine also. I'm so amazed that, in life, you actually have this many friends. Not only they are friends to you, they are kind of like the high-end, or a high-end friend. When I say high-end, I mean some kind of brand, right?
I appreciate it.
Mr. Ken Hemming is a famous writer, book writer, and he's also an expert in the financial field. But those are the past. Now
those are the past.
Yeah. Now
you're still an expert.
I have no future
in politics. The politics is that I drag him all over. Hey, Ken, how do you see this? How do you see that? But to Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My honor always to be here and with your viewers, who I love so much.
All right. And with you and Alan, this is the second time.
Yes.
Should we call it a discussion or should we call it debate, depending on how you guys get along?
Well, we have a mutual respect for each other, and some things we agree on, some things we don't, and at the end we love each other just the same.
That's the beauty of democracy.
He's my friend now. I'm honored.
Okay, now.
Likewise.
Likewise. Okay, yes. Good. And here, likewise, too. Now, simply make a long story short, make a point a point. The point being that, does freedom have a limitation? What do you take?
Well, we have to hold freedom dear to our hearts. Mm-hmm. It's basically the foundation of the United States, the principles that this country was founded by. But we have to worry about chipping away. We have certain civil liberties this country provides, and we have to worry about chipping away at those civil liberties. We do have freedoms, but unfortunately, you cannot have unfettered freedoms. There has to be some sort of limitations because You just can't have the freedom to just shoot your neighbor when you feel like it.
Oh,
or,
yeah, of course, yeah, of course.
Or
No, of
you
course
know,
not.
or
That
say
would-
something that's not truthful to about somebody to the public. There has to be certain limitations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your take, sir?
Well, in the last day, I've kind of researched and did a lot of reading about the evolution of freedom of speech and freedom of expression.
All right.
And
History, man.
and one element in there that was very interesting is one of the philosophers said that tolerance is a very important element for freedom of speech and expression to endure and to be experienced in a dignified way. And like we talk about people being so offendable, so it's real important that like we could 100% agree on something, and yet as mature humans, and clear thinkers, we can discuss the elements of that and still maybe disagree and be happy about it. So that's a real important thing, and a lot of it came around when the Gutenberg press came out. That's when all of a sudden we had the ability to express ourselves to many people instead of having to copy these things. And at that time there was really a lot of resistance to the free recreation of what somebody wrote and the dissemination of it. And the Catholic Church at that time disallowed a lot of books from being printed. It's kind of interesting. Over time, there's a couple theories in here, a kind of an offense theory and a harm theory that come into the concept of freedom of speech and expression. And so there are limitations, but as long as there's civility and tolerance, they should be fewer.
And now,
And we also, if you go through history, you see censorship. And talking about the Catholic Church, many writings were censored even before the invention of the press.
You're right.
So,
Yeah.
and that's the dangerous thing right there, is if you're suppressing information from being disseminated to the public. And there's been governments and there's been the theocratic groups that work on
or sectors of any
society.
social groups, right?
Yeah, so we have to provide protections, and like we're talking about the press, we copyright. Someone writes something. Doesn't he deserve or she deserve some protection of the work that they did?
Yeah.
That's an example.
That's freedom too.
But
yes.
I also think about, for example, neo-Nazis marching in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Should we prevent them from marching? Now, I don't subscribe to the beliefs of neo-Nazis,
But you have to give them the right to do the marching themselves.
and that's the thing. If we want to, if everybody wants to enjoy certain freedoms,
Exactly.
then we have to tolerate.
Exactly.
Like Ken mentioned, there has to be a level of toleration
Tolerance.
in order for us to exercise that freedom.
And it's a mutual tolerance. Am I right?
Yeah, it has to be a mutual tolerance.
Okay, now,
That's correct.
it looks, to my audience, it looks that Ken and Alan, this time, as a start, which is a good start, reached an agreement that there is a limitation in exercising your right of freedom. All right? Now, back to the Charlie Hebdo issue, though. All right? Now, should they have to apply their right of freedom to denounce or to the whatever, to mark, to treat Muhammad, somebody else's God, in a way, in almost a childish way, and keep on going, insisting that there is no limitation of whatever? Do you think they did the right thing?
I'd like to make a comment on this, okay? Because this situation with Charlie Hebdo, it was a depiction, okay? And as long as whatever philosophy or limitation that everybody agreed on was applied equally to every situation, to every religion, then that's fine. But Christ is often demeaned and depicted in horrible ways, and as well as many other things like that. And nobody you just don't get offended by it because okay, it's fine because what words don't mean anything. And I think it should be the same for all. You cannot just pick one thing to say, okay, we have to limit that because we might get killed.
You get his point, right?
Yeah, I do. And, you know, again, it goes back to whether or not you have to be in a level playing field.
okay,
Everybody has to tolerate the same things. And I think satire, you know, political satire, they're going to make fun of different people. They're going to make fun of Jesus. They're going to make fun of Buddha. They'll make fun of, you know, Muslim leaders.
All right.
And that's a tolerance that we have to accept. And with humor, you know, and
If I were them, I would say, go ahead, do whatever, make joke to anybody.
Yeah, that's what
Just
I
don't touch my
do.
God. That's it.
Don't touch my what?
Don't touch my God.
I
Don't
disagree.
touch my God.
well,
It has to be the same for
I
every
think Ken and I are
kind of
debating you
situation.
now.
No. I know,
Yes.
of course, we can do that.
Yeah,
We can
you're
do
in
that.
trouble.
That's not a problem. The problem, okay, now I'll give you a fact. The fact is that for the past week and a half, the voices or the media has died on this issue totally, left or right.
It's called the
Or left and
Deflategate.
right. Which means now, the first week they had 3 million increase in copies, and the second week announced to be 5 million in copies, and then we never heard anything
Right.
from the media, left or right, about the third week or about the result of the 5 million extra copies. Because people realize they are pushing to the wrong directions. Right? Now you're saying that, okay, as long as you treat all gods equally, we're okay. But there are still people saying, no, not okay. It is your take, it is okay to, as long as to play equally. It is your say, as long as you keep yourself equally playing or joking to every god, you're okay. That's your take only. To my take, I would say no. Still do not touch my God, do not touch my religion,
Touch mine all
do
you
not
want.
touch my area.
Doesn't
Okay,
bother
but
me.
that's your
So-
freedom. You have the freedom
Yeah.
to say, don't touch my God, okay? But you don't have the freedom to kill somebody because of it.
No.
And you don't have
once
the
again,
freedom
once again,
to-
okay.
to make other people agree with you. 'cause
Okay, let's
it's
take
just-
a short moment out. When we come back, we'll let my audiences know what is the once again. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.